Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan, aka Whiskey Tip, and Mike. Don't leave him alone with your candles, Whiskey Wings. And this week we've got a special guest. He's rocking a beard for the same reason you are, a purveyor of fine pan shirts who loves a tight fit, Mr. Hawaii 50 Mills, brand ambassador for Loch, Lomond and Glen, Scotia.
Global brand ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Global brand ambassador. Welcome.
Prestige worldwide.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Yeah,
long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They do that, don't they, on radio stations?
Double liar.
Average length listener, third time caller. Okay. How are we, gents? Well, good?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah, very nice.
All good down in sunny Kent.
Very much appreciate the shirt game that you both brought to this tonight.
Oh my days.
Yeah.
Gary's made us wear shirts.
I'm not going to stand up on screen.
Made as a
Pressure. I can't even do my second button up on this. The sizing's slightly tight.
I didn't have any Loud or Gary shirts, so I asked my wife, who's on maternity leave, to go charity shop.
You asked her?
Yeah, I asked her. I didn't tell her.
Yeah,
I mean, this isn't. You said it's the 50s. It's not the 50s. I didn't tell her. I asked her, "Would you mind?" And she said, "I love that." So off she tried.
Happy, wonderful.
Beautiful. Got a little message and I've gone with a gold number, haven't I?
It is sweet. You are.
Lovely.
That's a wedding setup, surely. Definitely.
It's very hot. I think it's silk / polyester or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think any natural materials were used in the case.
I'm getting a sweat on.
Yeah. Basically, 90% Coca-Cola bottles.
Now, Gary, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
So, I work at the Loch Lomond Group. I have been there for now just over 9 years. I came in, so the Loch Lomond Group was bought over in 2014 and I joined in 2015, doubling the marketing team. And at that point in time, we were literally relaunching both Glen, Scotia and Loch Lomond ranges, to the point that when I walked in the door, we had one malt in Loch Lomond, 2 blends, and 3 Glen Scotias, and that was it. And then it's been a bit of a mad roller coaster ride from there.
You got on at the right time now.
Oh, no, definitely.
Oh, you definitely did.
It's been amazing. Yeah. Seeing the progression of the 2 brands, even through into Little Mill as well, it's just been wonderful.
And is it true that Michael Henry really likes hugs? Is that true?
Michel Henry.
Yeah, I mean, does he really like?
Yeah, he puts this big wall up as a facade, but it's all about the physical.
He loves a hug.
Yeah. He gets quite annoyed if he walks past me in the corridor and I don't just give his bum a wee squeeze like that. He gets raging if I don't.
Oh my days! So we usually start off with a Dragon's Den style pitch. So Mike and I this week we want to pitch to you for £20,000 of your hard-earned life savings. We are pitching we've created a company called the Whiskey to Life. We want 20 grand to invest in our patented key and whiskey design, which we've put onto shirts in all different colour assortments. They are usually button-up shirts of the short and long sleeve variety, and these are loud shirts for people who need to make their presence known and who like a dram. Now, we're going to be mostly selling these at whiskey festivals and the darts. So we'd like to know, to be honest, we're not 100% certain that it's going to be a strong uptake, but they're very garish. Would you like to invest?
Well, I'm torn here.
It's got bottles of whiskey on the shirt.
I'm torn here, boys. Like, I really want to invest the money, but I feel like I'm probably going to be your only customer.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely
That's
sure.
the best reason to invest.
It's a double investment.
That's what they always do on Dragon's Den. They're like, well, I would buy it.
Yeah, that's almost guaranteeing your money back.
But my fear is nobody else is going to buy it. That's the thing. So like I'm essentially somehow lining my own pocket.
If you give yours into a charity shop, my wife might pick it up for £4.75. Do you have the time to chat to Gary Mills about Glen, Scotia, Loch Lomond and his shirts? Well, he is one of those ostentatious dudes still rocking Hawaii shirts 'cause he can. Gentlemen, what's been in your glass and what's been up your arse? Gary.
In my glass tonight, gents, no massive surprise. Distillery Edition 5.
Yep.
Beautiful.
It just had to be. And to be honest, so far I've had a pretty good week, gents. There's not much been up my arse so far.
Right,
Okay.
you're one of these
5
positive
something.
people.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
So, right.
Never say sorry. It's only negative Duncan on here. Generally, it's positive.
Yeah, it's good to keep things positive. It's nice to hear. So you've got Distillery Edition number 5 in your glass. I've got that poured as well, and the Fino. And Mike, what about you? What's been in your glass and what's been up your ass?
Unsurprisingly, the 5. We've had the Festival Edition 9 Fino and the Loch Lomond Cooper's Collection Spanish Oak, courtesy of Gary Mills. Delightful. And also the new Nuck Neen, which they sent out to us. Now, I can't remember what the edition's called. Can you?
It's called the Huntress.
The Huntress?
Huntress.
There you go.
Huntress?
The
Huntress,
Huntress.
I guess.
The Huntress. That's what's in my
It's pretty
glass
good.
at the moment. Yeah, decent. Really nice. Fresh.
Very fresh. I'm glad you said that. It's very fresh.
Yeah. A little bit chalky. I'm picking up loads of chalk in whiskey at the moment. I don't know if it's like my massive
Maybe
nose
slightly.
playing up, but seems to be the on point tasting note I'm getting at the moment.
I've not tried masses of Nickneen. That's one I kind of probably, I think I want to spend a bit of time with, get under the skin.
I get to know it.
The original's decent. They did that free sample promotion on their website where anyone could just go in, put the details in, have a free sample. And I can't even remember what numbers they said, but it was like off the chart because every whiskey person in the world put in for it, basically.
I mean,
and
but
all their friends.
Credit to them though, because they stood by it and they sent everybody
Yeah.
out a sample. Right? They didn't say, "Oh, we've oversold" or "Whoops a daisy." They were
And
like,
gave
"No,
you
just-
£5 off a bottle. So
Yeah.
I know, I think probably a quarter of the people that got one bought a bottle. So in a way, really decent
I
marketing.
think like that, but that kind of stuff, 90% of what most of the brand ambassadors will talk to you about is that the job's about getting liquid on lips.
Yeah.
We just want folk to try it. Like whether you like it, love it, hate it, you just need to try it. And then even if you hate it, you'll tell 3 folk about it.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
So I've done a massive job for them in that. I think that's a really nice one.
Yeah, hopefully that new one does well because I don't know what the retail is on that, but again, that is a yummy, yummy dram.
I found with that Huntress, I actually did notes for it. So I'm just going to have a look to see what I said. Definitely fresh. I'm having a look up on my phone. Pretty sure I put it on Instagram. I said the nose is fresh with soft pears, vanilla, sweet cherries, eucalyptus, gooseberries, and mint leaves. Palate brings more cherry, orchard fruit, spicy marmalade, and then the eucalyptus comes back to finish. I thought it got a little thin into the palate, really, but the nose was super interesting, very fresh, and it is quite pricey. I think it's coming in like £75 to £80. So, I mean, it depends on your budget.
48.5.
But very fresh dram, very nice dram for summer, I would say.
Organic whiskey, so they're probably like paying out more for everything. You've got to kind of take that in.
That is the thing. Also, the packaging is unreal. So if you're in the sort of gift market, I mean, that's the kind of one that's it's quite pretty, isn't it?
For my tasting notes, I can just do an emoji of finger up to what you just said. 'Cause everything you said was there. So
That's
yeah,
100%
bang
what I'm
on.
going to do with the Fino Glen
Done.
Scotia, to be honest. Your tasting notes were pretty unreal. I just wanted to add something at the end. So has anything been annoying you this week, Mike, or are you also
I
zen?
am mega pop. No, 50-50. I'm generally happy, but once again, Kent County Council, you're on my hit list.
Right.
I'm trying to get a drop curb, and this has been 4 or 5 months.
You know you've hit 40 when you're trying to get a drop curve.
Mate, do you know what I was doing before this pod?
Hey,
First world problems.
A bit of work, but I was also forking my garden, FORK, before anyone says anything. Not eating candles, just forking my garden.
Bit of salt burn action out.
Yeah, just get that drainage going because it's still a bit boggy, and I need to get that water away before it goes like frigging rock hard when the sun kicks in soon. So, yeah, very boring week for me. 50-50 happy, 50-50 I hate Kent. Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
it. How about you, Duncan? We happy? We sad? We angry?
So I've had a cough now
between.
no, there was something that really annoyed me. I had a cough for just seemingly like forever, but I actually worked out today that I've had my cough for longer than Liz Truss was Prime Minister.
That's not odd. I had a longer shit earlier than she was
like,
Prime Minister.
About 7 weeks now or something like that. And the thing that really annoyed me is, do you like the soft closed toilet seats? Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So I don't mind if someone gets it wrong when like they're not used to having a soft close, or they think it's going to be soft close and they just let it go and it just slams. And you think, fair enough. The world's caught you out. Give them a break. But we had our family round, and one of the family members who shall remain not named, they'd left the toilet door open because we were rushing out, and I guess they were just, sorting out the toilet seat at the end or something like that. It was a man, and I caught them with their hand on top of the soft close, pushing it down
to speed it up.
Yeah, to speed it up. What kind of sadist does that? You're just ruining my soft close action.
Were they trying to contain a smell?
Well,
just stay in there.
If anything, with a soft, you would never put your hand on top of it to push it down. It's a soft close. It's already going down slowly. You just let it do its job.
Was it an old person?
No more details.
Can't even
so, good positive thing for the week.
Mm.
A few days ago, a retailer, Tipples of Manchester, they released a bottle, which is a Bunnahabhain 25-year-old 1989, bottled in 2015, single cask, 44%, so make of that what you will, sort of a lower ABV, but it's 25 years old, so it's possible, just a really cask that's had a really hard time. 100% ex-bourbon cask, which is pretty hard to get hold of with Bunnahabhain in my view. They're usually sherried, so the pure bourbon ones are sometimes harder to find, really. Anyway, so I called up and had a chat with Tom, so shout out to Tom. Basically, their rent went up really massively, like 250%. They thought they're going to have to fold the business, so good to hear that they're not going to have to. They're moving to a new location. It's tough being a small retailer, I think. I think they've got a bar as well. And they needed to obviously get some money in. And so they rung around all of their suppliers and asked them what they could do. And Berry Brothers and Rudd came through for them and found, no joke, 150 bottles of this bad boy in their warehouse. It was a 200-bottle release for Boysdale, the bar/restaurant, and they'd only used 50. And so 150 bottles were just left in the warehouse.
Oh, God. Is it Boysdale's stock that is probably owned by them and now they're just selling?
I don't know.
You've probably created a legal issue from here.
No. He said it was fine to share it and stuff. So it's absolutely madness. And then they said they don't believe in price gouging because obviously 130 quid is kind of reasonable for a 25-year-old.
25, come on.
That's more than a bit reasonable.
And
you're lucky to get an 18-year-old for 130 quid. For
as it stands right now, it's still available. So whether it still is...
Gary's turned away and grabbed the pen.
Whether it still is come the weekend, I don't know. But when this probably comes out. But credit to them. So big shout out to Tipples of Manchester. Thanks for putting out a bottle at a reasonable price and sourcing something wacky, right? 1989 to 2015. It's been literally sat in their warehouse for 8-9 years.
I'm really happy you've turned into me. You made fun of me for approaching a Tesco manager to chat about whiskey. You're now just ringing shops. Hello!
I mean, in his defence, it is kind of spirit shops, though it's pure...
Yeah, that's true. I'm not just talking to grocery managers or whatever. Yeah.
It's whiskey related.
Whiskey adjacent.
One of the things we were keen today for you, Gary, is to come on the old Podski and talk to us a bit about these very popular festival editions, the Campbelltown Festival editions that Glen Scotia puts out, as well as the very popular distillery edition range, of which you're up to 5 now. So would you like to start with the old Glen Scotia? How did that come about, and how long's it been going for, and what's the kind of ethos behind it?
So this kind of it's really grown organically. So when I joined, my first year, so 2015, was our first kind of real step into the Malts Festival itself. Prior to that, obviously, because we didn't have a distillery visitor centre, the most we had done was Ian would really kind of go down to Springbank and literally take a whiskey festival stand at Springbank Open Day, and pour some drams from there. So 2015 was our first one, and we decided obviously we wanted to do something special for it. So we went for a festival single cask was how it started. So that was that. So we obviously had the single cask as standard, but then we decided to do the festival single cask. So one...
It started off with a single cask.
Yeah. So year one actually was just a standard. I think we just called it a distillery edition actually. So the red label for that one. Year 2 we then decided to go more bespoke and go into festival edition for it. So we changed that to blue. And then as it evolved through, it really became that opportunity to try and engage the markets with the Campbelltown Malts Festival. It's our one thing to shout about and really get them hyped about Campbelltown as a whole. So it's to try and identify then some parcels of liquid that we could do something a wee bit off the beaten track. And I think the thing I love about the special editions across both Glen, Scotia and Loch Lomond is that that's what it lets us do. So you've got a core range that does what it needs to do. Some great priced whiskies going up through the range, all the different finishes. But it's giving Michael, really, a lot of the time, that opportunity to go off and do something a wee bit different. Something that you maybe wouldn't say fits within the core. But it really kind of tickles a lot of people and kind of scratches an itch.
They're quite large releases, aren't they, in terms of bottle numbers?
We've crept up to, I think, about the kind of 45,000 bottles or something now.
That blows my mind because it always eventually sells out.
Yes. Oh no, absolutely.
Which is incredible. It just goes to show,
what we wanted to do. But it sounds like a fairly big number, but when you divide that by some fairly chunky markets.
Yep, especially when you're global brand ambassador.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, we're going as far as Taiwan, China, US, obviously, and then across Europe. It just gets snapped up.
It does, but I always think there's plenty of bottles with that one in the UK. You don't. I mean, it's brilliant. We're going to do taste notes for the latest one, the 9-year-old Fino. You should, if you have a spare £65 kicking around, and you really like Glen, Scotia, and non-peated whiskey and Fino finishes, it should be right up your street. But you don't need to panic. You know, if you're waiting for payday or whatever, it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
But that said, when it is gone, and it will go at some point, usually later in the year, then it's gone, and then you have to buy at auctions, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it will go, despite the large numbers, at some point.
It's one of the few bottlings that I would say is bucking the downward trend on the auctions just now. If you're to try and backfill your collection of distillery editions, of the festival editions, you're not going to get any of them anywhere.
I almost picked up a Tawny Port actually the other day. I think I've had 2 bottles of that one for about 80 quid.
The dark brown label one, I think. Was it?
It's a sort of darkish red. Yeah.
I sure smell Glen, Scotia.
There's been all kinds of ones. You want to walk us through the range and then maybe tell us what your favourite was?
So the first kind of major boom for it was the 2018 Ruby Port, and one of the first things we decided to do. So we only do about 6 weeks of peated production at Glen, Scotia, the whole year, and by all accounts, Glen Scotia is not a peated whiskey. Nothing has got big bags of heavy smoke kind of cutting through it. Very small percentages in a couple of the releases. So pretty much all of the peated stuff goes into these releases, more often than not. And then it's looking at interesting finishes. But a key thing, again, for us through the Glen Scotias as a whole, but specifically on these as well, is looking at cask finishes, but still cask finishes that would have been available in Campbelltown through those kind of trade routes and the shipping. So it's why it's been wines, ports, rums.
Yeah, you've done Tawny Port,
to be fair,
Ruby Port.
It might be worth just explaining that Campbelltown, obviously historically, was far busier for whiskey than it was now. Some people might not be aware.
So the kind of potted Campbelltown history being that it's a very small town on the far west coast of Scotland. At its absolute peak, had 9,000 people. Not massive town. At its peak, it had 26 distilleries in that one town.
Yeah, it's crazy to think it's down to 3 now.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and
that's 2 and a bit.
And that's 26 distilleries operating at one time. There were a total of I think about 32. So it was literally next door to each other. If you didn't work for a distillery, you worked for something to do with a distillery. And the prevalence of the Campbelltown Scotch was such that there was a period of about 100 years whereby if you were drinking Scotch across the world, you were drinking Campbelltown Scotch. 100 years.
That's mad.
So it was a kind of very fortunate set of circumstances that led to that massive boom.
Yeah.
And then an unfortunate set of circumstances that brought it all crashing down again.
Yeah, I suppose in a way then that's why you've got such avenues open to you to use casks that have been used before, because you would have had everything back in the day, and there's probably historical notes to say what was used and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. No, one of the biggest kind of reasons for the success was the fact that Campbelltown's got a deep sea port, and it would have been the first stop off for any ships leaving
Big ships.
Yeah, big ships leaving Glasgow, heading off into the New World, and similarly on their way back from the New World coming in. So they would bring casks into Campbelltown, so the casks were there, and then on the way out they would just fill their, like, I mean, if they're heading off to the Americas, do you know what I mean? They would just fill their hulls with Scotch, and off they went.
So, yeah, thanks for giving us a run through there. What of the releases so far? Then it really kicked off in 2018 with the Ruby port, right?
Yeah. So in this kind of format of the kind of, because they've all followed this format
In the same packaging, yeah.
You've got the map of Campbelltown there, loosely following a colour scheme that tries to tie into the casks involved.
Yeah.
So that kind of really all kicked off 2018, and the numbers, like the volume has kind of gradually grown.
What's your favourite then? And I'd be also interested to see what each of our favourites are. I know there's many people who are really big fans of the Tawny Port one. Any raise on the Tawny Port edition?
I do love the Tawny Port. Like, as a Tawny Port for me is legitimately one of my favourite Glen Scotia finishes. It just works with the spirit.
Glen Scotia also works with peated and unpeated, but because you can't get hold of the peated stuff so much, when you get like a festival edition, or you get, like, for example, an SMWS peated single cask, you do sort of get a wee bit excited.
Yeah, definitely.
You're a bit like, oh, can't get it out of my hands.
Oh, there it is.
The White Port's your favourite.
White Port, love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was very fresh.
I am now nursing this one.
I love it.
Actually, we should say Gary kindly sent us a sample of the Pheno for this pod, and also a sample of Distillery Edition number 5. However, we both already have an open bottle of Distillery Edition number 5. If you listened to last week's pod, you would have heard that. I haven't bought the Pheno yet, but I have had 2 or more bottles of every single release since 2020, I think. Nice. So 2 of the 20 Port, all gone, finished. Mullered. 2 of the Bordeaux, gone. There was the unpeated Bordeaux, which had the sort of orange blossom notes on it and stuff.
Yeah,
that was very nice. Then there was the heavily peated
PX
8-year-old. Yep. 2 bottles of that. 1 in the cupboard still.
Yes.
Always have a spare.
Always.
I've only had 1 bottle of the White Port. No, maybe 2, and then there's 1 left. So we could qualify, or I certainly could qualify as a fan of this series, I think. And so the Pheno, not a disappointment. It's very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think
Mike, you did techie tasting notes, Mike. What did you get on it?
So I did, and yeah, they were a bit out there.
They were out there.
On the nose, garden peas, banana foam sweets, lemon bonbons, and lemon iced tea.
I definitely get the lemon iced tea, I think.
And the garden peas, Oz. Super sweet peas, no?
Maybe. I mean, I'll shout you out the lemon iced tea.
Yeah.
It's very salty and sort of mineralic, isn't it, again?
Palette-wise, I've gone coastal salinity, pavlova, pecan nut, pistachio, strawberry sauce, raw carrot, ginger, and oak spice.
Ginger, oak spice, yes. Loads of nuts. Just so nutty. The thing that's really hooked me into this whiskey is right at the finish, it's quite salty. But in addition to the saltiness, there's this sort of, it tastes like a Snickers bar right at the end. I don't know where it comes from. It's not on the palate. It's once the whiskey's gone down, and as it's just leaving your mouth, it's like a salty Snickers bar. Now, once I've had a couple of drams, I often crave that sort of Snickers bar taste. And it is satisfied through eating a Snickers bar. So this might be a replacement.
It's going to help you lose weight.
Instead
of eating a Snickers, you're now just going to have this.
It's just that slight chocolatey, nutty note on the end.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Like you said, you've got that salinity. You get it's obviously it spent the vast majority of its life, so eight and a half kind of years in first fill bourbon, and then finished for about 6 months in the Pheno. Yeah. I say about, so it's always part of the fun of the job is always unlocking these wee nuggets from Thierry Henry. And one of these ones he dropped at an event a couple of weeks back. So we did a Campbelltown Malts Festival preview event. And the one he dropped at that was the fact that we used 2 different lengths of finish on this one. So the same Pheno casks, part of it finished for 10 months, which is bringing the real depth of sherry character. And then part of it's finished for 6 months in the Fino, which brings that real crisp, citrusy character.
Right,
It's just these wee things that, like, I would never in a million years have thought of that kind of stuff.
It's definitely salty, citrusy. Like there's that fruit note, loads of nuttiness in it, and then I just have that ever such a slight kind of nutty, sweet, chocolatey note right at the end, for me anyway, which kind of reminds me of sort of a Snickers bar or towards. But my favourite bit of it is probably the finish, which I don't usually say on a whiskey.
Yeah.
Usually, it's the favourite bit is the nose or the palate, not usually the finish. So it's quite rare in that sense for me.
I'll tell you one of the things that, and I get this across the board with Glen Scotia, that doesn't drink at its ABV even close. That's 50,
No chance.
That's 56.2.
It feels like it's like 48, 50%.
Yeah, you'd maybe go high 40s.
Yeah.
But 50.
Yeah, 48%. Yeah.
And I think that's, again, that's part of, I think, this kind of Scotia bit's the absolute dream team. Do you know what I mean? So you've got Ian making all this fabulous spirit, and then you've got Michael with that deftness, a touch on finishing.
Messi, immens Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol.
Bringing it all together, that just brings a balance of the flavours, that just makes it just unlimitedly squashable.
You haven't said what your favourite is. You haven't committed. I'm sure you haven't committed. Or did you say Tawny Port?
No.
I cut him off.
lingered on Tawny Port. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2018 Ruby Port.
Ruby Port, the first one.
Yeah,
The original.
OG.
I think it being the OG, the first one we did, I've got a soft spot for it. There's something about it where, as much as I've just talked about the balance, it was one where it almost felt like the peat and the red fruit, it just kind of flipped and flopped all the time on the palate for me. And it was just something that I'd never had before, and I just loved it.
I can't get. Mike says his favourite is the white port. But I mean, they're all great. To be clear, I think if I had to pick, if you're going to really push me, we're honest and well, I'd say my least favourite of since 2020.
Don't say it. Don't say rum.
No, I was going to say for the Bordeaux, which is still amazing, but it's a high benchmark. You're scoring them all very high, but they're all very closely packed together at the top of the high end of a scale. But if I had to have an order, like people do, that would still be at the bottom. But the top, I think, I can't get the PX out of my head. The toffee note that ran through it was just outrageous. Like heavy peat and toffee is just a match made in absolute heaven. It's a stonking toffee note running right through it. Probably not as complex as the other ones, not as complex as your Tawny Port 14-year-old or whatever, but just for like sitting down and just loving it, that one.
But not every whiskey needs to be super complex. And I think that's the thing. Like sometimes you just want a whiskey that you can sit down and smash through 4 glasses of. Do you know what I mean? Without, I don't want to consider every single whiskey.
Yeah. And you don't want to consider the whole bottle. Sometimes you consider it for the first couple of pours and you just go, that's a banger.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to pour it and enjoy it a different day. Now, before we move on to the Distillery Edition series, we've got a wee pop quiz for you. It's one or the other. Are you ready, Gary?
Right.
Got to be quick.
Yeah, you got to be quick. There's no pauses, right? Feel free to have... Oh, by the way, cheers, Slanger.
Slanger Vagins.
Ross. Ega Shegida, if you're Hungarian. Yechida. Here we go. Hawaiian shirts or dart shirts?
Oh, Hawaiian shirts every day of the week.
Okay, it's not easy, right? Glencairn or Tumbler?
Glencairn.
It's disappointing. Glen Scotia or Loch Lomond?
Scotia.
Michael Henry or Michael Omri?
Oh, Henry every day of the week.
Every day. And who wins in a fight between Michael Omri and Thierry Henry?
Probably say Michael. It's always the quiet ones you need to look out for.
Always. Plus, I'm not
And
sure
he's
if it.
fucking massive.
I'm not sure Thierry Henry would even get in a fight. To be honest, I feel like he would just talk you down. You'd be going for a drink with him before you know it. He could have done the worst possible imaginable thing you could think of, and you'd probably still end up at a bar with him.
You'd end up driving off in a Renault Clio, drinking Verve,
100%,
doing a sports show.
It probably wouldn't be possible to get in a fight with Thierry Henry, to be fair.
There's also quite a few French surrender jokes in there, I think.
I might change that flag for a white one.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked through the the Glen Scotia Festival Edition series. What about the Distillery Edition series, which is now at number 5 and isn't coming out annually like the Glen Scotia Festival Edition? It's coming out seemingly whenever there's the chance to crack one out.
Yeah, I think the target's between 3 and 4 a year, for sure. And again, it's you guys kind of know the Loch Lomond range. I think for those that don't, Loch Lomond's got the ability to, from a distillation point, it's all about creating flavour through distillation, rather than being reliant on casks. From a single malt point of view, we have 8 malt new makes. Technically 10 malt new makes. 2 of them we need to call 2 of them we need to call single grain.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's why everything that we produce at Loch Lomond goes into bourbon. Allows those characters to really develop. We spend so much time putting all the flavours in at distillation. Why then interfere with them with different woods? So we've got a lot to talk about with Loch Lomond that is quite complex. So we really need to filter it down to make it more approachable to people. So we brought it down to the kind of 3 main pillars of fruit, honey sweetness, and soft smoke. So that for us is the Loch Lomond signature style, and all of the core range talks to that and riffs around that. What the distillery editions allow us to do, I say us like I'm involved in it in any shape or form. What it allows
You take the credit for that, won't you, Gary?
My idea.
You don't stand good out.
That's a brand ambassador's job. Take credit for it.
Easy, global.
Global brand ambassador. Yeah.
My idea, but I mean,
Global credit.
I don't check the labels or anything. What the distillery edition allows Michael to do is basically showcase like the full geeky extent or the capabilities of Loch Lomond to go through super long fermentations.
And what a joy it is. Distillery Edition number 5 is unreal.
Yeah.
I blame Brian, who was on the last pod, and partially Mike, for my cupboard now having a disproportionate ratio of Loch Lomond in. It's just spiraled.
Yeah.
You know, there was maybe 1 or 2, and now if there's 30 open bottles, there's 6. I mean, that's 20%.
The Loch Lomond
What's
section,
going on?
One whole cube. Yeah. Every distillery edition on there.
Yeah, and it allows us to, again, it's like I said, it's scratching that itch for a lot of folk and Chardonnay wine yeast really was the start of it. We did, so as you know, Loch Lomond's not open to the public, and back in, I want to say 2017, we did a distillery edition, even though nobody can come and buy it. Like, we don't have a shop, so you can't buy it at the distillery. At that point in time, we weren't selling online either.
Okay.
But what we were doing was selling it to guests or giving it to guests that come in. So we still get customers, whiskey bloggers, but podcasters are banned, unfortunately.
We're not podcasters. We're international
Men of Mystery.
Content superstars. Yeah. What is that? Oh, that's you
That's
stealing
me
the chair.
trying to steal the chairs.
Oh my days! Mike tried to steal a chair once. That's why you're not allowed in, Mike, because you
Banned.
Yeah,
Correct.
banned.
That's
Trying
why
to steal stuff. All the
That's
time.
why his photo's behind the reception desk. Do not admit this, man.
You wouldn't recognise me. I was skinny then.
So that was one of the first kind of in the wild Chardonnay wine yeasts, and it just that cask will live long in my heart. I think Brian possibly still has, or if he's not still got some, I think he might just have finished his last one.
Is it the standby? Grab you a number.
Just whilst you're doing that, Mike, one of my mates, Alex, shout out Alex, he was at a wine thing recently, and the wine producer is called...
That's the boy, Mike.
Which one's that, Mike?
My favourite whiskey ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Cask 5834.
Is that the one we finished a bottle off around yours? Yeah, that was delicious.
Got one left.
So he said that he met the wine producer Booteng Verwatting. Apparently,
I'm calling bullshit.
We all know him. We all know him well.
Apparently, they provide all the wine, the white wine casks or whatever to Loch Lomond. Yeah, connection, right? It's like 6 degrees of separation or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
one.
I wonder if that's the case. I've massacred the pronunciation of it, but maybe you can check, Gary.
Try it again. See if you get it better second time.
Oh my days! What are you doing to me? I can't even find it. Booteng Verwatching.
Nailed it.
That's two
smashed that.
Just to confirm,
second time round, you fucking smashed
two
it.
separate people snorted there. Two separate people. That wasn't one person. Okay. Unbelievable. So distillery edition. So there's been 5 so far,
Yes.
of which 1 was peated. Number 2.
Yes.
Chardonnay wine yeast in number 1 and 5.
Yep.
Is that right?
Correct.
I feel like 5 and 1 are probably my favourite. There is this thing with Chardonnay wine yeast, but they're
the
all
best.
excellent. And they're all at a reasonable price, somewhere between 45 to sort of 60-ish quid, right?
Yeah. And again, it's a very clear effort. Like we want folk to buy this, smash it, and buy another one. Or in Brian's case,
Get them hooked.
Or in Brian's case, just buy a case. Like knowing
straight
knowing you're going to drink it.
Yeah.
But this is number 5 is from Inchmurren. That's what I mean. This is what Brian was saying.
Straight neck pot still, high collection
neck.
strength. So it's ultimately a lowland style whiskey made in the Highlands,
Right.
but with Chardonnay wine yeast.
It's just incredible. It's
So
like
good.
the fizziness is there, the minerality, the chalkiness, the bit that Mike was saying about eating candles, and then you've got all of the fruit, and it's just like there's just layers to it. Then it's kind of a bit sort of waxy or oily,
Candly.
thrown in the mix.
Candidly.
Yeah, it's just
Bit witchy.
delicious.
But
It's one of those ones where I'm really trying not to buy second bottles of stuff these days. Right, doesn't matter how good it is. I'm trying to put my foot down and not buy the second bottle. But it's one of those where I'm like, oh, if it's still around,
But you're definitely going to buy a
But
second.
here's the thing: this is what's possibly stopping me. Is such is the frequency of these releases now that I'm always going, well, what's Michael going to do next? What are Loch Lomond going to do next? What's coming out? What's 6? What's 7? Do I really want, because I want to buy 6 or 7? I've only just opened 4, right? 4 and 5. So,
But that again is part of the pricing bit, because we know we're doing 2, 3, 4 a year. I'm not going to want to put it at 95 quid. So you go, just bought the other one 2 months ago, like that.
and they're usually a small batch. They're usually somewhere between 300 and 600 bottles type thing, aren't they?
Yes, so again, the demand, we'll kind of tweak it based on the liquid. We kind of know where it's going to be, and I think talking to the team before this one came out, they were pure Chardonnay wine yeast, up the numbers. Like it was a very, I don't think the next one will be 600.
Right, okay.
Because it won't be Chardonnay wine yeast, but I think that's probably going to be the benchmark for a Chardonnay wine yeast release now. One thing on before we move on from Chardonnay wine yeast, I think my favourite tasting note that I get on every single one of these, the hard refresher sweets. See the wee sherbet discs?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that fizzy, fruity.
That is there, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how much you like sort of sweet whiskey. The thing is I find that even though they're on the sweeter side, it's not that artificial sweet. I know you just mentioned a refresher sweet, but it doesn't feel like an artificial sweetness. So, for example, recently, someone sent me another guy called Brian. There's so many people in the world called Brian. Who'd have thunk it? So there's so many Brians out there. So one of the Brians sent me, it's that VR46 chap.
I'm Brian,
He
and
sent me
so is
that
my wife.
that Teeling crystal cask, and that was like really artificial sweetness. It was like the far end of artificial sweetness. So they're sweet, but they feel like a kind of natural.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of Loch Lomond. That I said, the fruit character is so central to Loch Lomond through long fermentation and specifically out of the straight neck stills. That's really, it's ultimately designed to really emphasise that fruit character, and it is that crisp green apple, like I said, sweet red. All the.
I have been like pressuring Michelle to make the Chardonnay wine yeast from that 5834 ever since. I'm like, just do it again. Just do it again.
Do it again.
Keep doing that. Do that.
Yes, please.
If you peak, keep doing it. I mean, that's
Because every time you release one, I just message him going,
that's the
"Is it
music.
same?"
That's the music industry all over,
Come
isn't it? They hit a winning formula and then just repeat it and rinse it for as much money as possible, right? M stands for Michael Emery. I stands for Industry Titan. C stands for Custard and Crumble. H stands for Honest to a Malt. A gets you 1 point in Scrabble. E gets you 1 point in Scrabble. L, hey, you're not allowed names to Scrabble. Blend it, Michael Emery. I mean, that's literally the movie.
It's like a
world.
Christmas number one.
They're like one film, and then I'm just going to do it again. Fast and Furious. Gary, you need to buy the Fast and Furious on DVD for Michael and just get him. He'll be like, oh, maybe I should just do that Chardonnay wine yeast 584 again. He'll be like, and he'll come back to you and be like, I'm going to do it again. And he'll be like, how many of the Fast and Furious did you watch?
Chardonnay wine yeast X.
Yeah.
So let's take a departure from going through the series. Shall we move on then? Would you like to do Pudding Island Drams with us, Gary? I think you've listened to the pod before.
Would be my pleasure, gentlemen.
So over to Mike then to explain how Pudding Island Drums works for people who are tuning into their first episode?
So picture yourself on an island, stranded for 30 days. The type of island, the location is entirely up to you. Could be hot, could be cold, could be sunny, could be snowy. So decide that first. Then whilst you're there, you get the choice of one whiskey for that entire period, one dessert, pudding or afters, depending on where you are in the country. And then your one selection of music. We are banning playlists, compilations,
and country
else.
music, possibly. Maybe not country
No,
music.
country music's allowed. As long as it's trad country.
Not Beyonce. Beyonce off the list.
And then finally, who is going to pick you up and take you home from that island after you've been there? So where do you want to start? Whiskey, food, location? Talk to us.
So there's some easy ones. So we'll go straight in with pudding, right?
Good.
And I mean, I've got to say it, gents.
Don't say it.
Yes. I know what you're going to say.
Profiteroles.
Oh!
I genuinely went, yes!
Are you for real?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
So I think they've been overlooked. They're actually amazing.
Do you know
They're
what,
actually incredible.
Individual.
Individual.
they go.
Yeah. Because you like sharing or because you just want to eat the whole stack yourself?
No, because you can just keep coming back whenever. You like, it doesn't need to all be eaten in one sitting. Just come back, just pick up a wee one.
What's the biggest profiterole tower you've ever seen? Like, what's the biggest serving of profiteroles you've ever witnessed?
Easy like a 4-foot tower, I would say.
Oh my days! Have you seen a 4-foot tower?
Well,
Where was that? Like Christmas party or something?
Dubai. I was very fortunate to just
Of course.
a week in Dubai.
4-foot profiterole tower.
Week in Dubai with my wife, and yeah.
Did you say when you saw that? Please tell me someone went, "Oh, sir, with these profiteroles, you're really spoiling us."
And they went, yes.
Please say someone did that.
I mean, I didn't hang about the profiterole tower all night, but for the brief time
They were
I was
just
there,
readily available.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
was
remember
4
I went to a wedding once and they had a profiterole tower. And one of the
like I haven't
boys was
lived.
there getting profiteroles. And I went, oh, mate, chuck a couple on a plate for me. And he went, do you want them dipped in chocolate? Because in a chocolate fountain.
Yeah,
I went,
dipped in chocolate.
Of course, I want extra
Kind of
chocolate.
monster, do you think I
And
am?
literally smashed 2 in my mouth. They were little balls straight away. I've got Scotch eggs in there. So I'm now like, I doubt every time I get profiterole, I'm like,
It was a Scotch egg inside the batter.
No, he just grabbed little Scotch eggs and just dipped them in chocolate. This sneaky little bugger.
Probably tastes really good. Remember, two things taste good separately.
Not when you're expecting profiterole.
Yeah, that's
Sausage and egg in chocolate is not what you want when you're going for a delicate little pastry filmed with lovely cream topped in chocolate.
It's nice to hear someone not say sticky toffee pudding for once. To be honest,
I'm so happy.
It's got embarrassing for it's got embarrassing for the other desserts and puddings that exist in the world.
I know.
It's at this point. It's just become,
someone must want New York cheesecake other than me.
I mean, I'm not going to change my choice because everybody else has picked it. I mean, but at the same time, I do feel like it would be nice to be different.
He's not competitive, but he does like to win puddings.
always.
Yeah.
Always.
So what you want to next? What do you want to do next, Gary?
Whiskey for me. Yeah, I'd probably go with, like Loch Lomond single grain.
Okay.
Unpeated
You
Loch
are
Lomond single grain.
shameless.
Absolutely shameless. But
Absolutely shameless.
it
This
is-
is like having Stuart Dick on all
Is
over
your
again.
is your island hot? Is it cold?
I would say a medium heat. I'm not talking 30, 35 degrees here, like a good 20, 25.
25
You're slightly off the coast of Britain.
This
25 is
Slightly-
perfect.
This
You're talking-
complexion,
You're in Jersey.
This,
You're in Jersey.
This complexion is not built for heat, gentlemen. I mean, the shirt might suggest otherwise. The pasty
Do you
white
find
skin
when you
does
go on
not.
holiday, if it is over 30, it's a bit unbearable, really. You want it to be somewhere like around 25 to 30 every day.
Absolutely.
Maybe that one day 30 and every other day sort of 25,
you'll take
light
that.
breeze.
You'll take that. Oh, fuck me, it's hot today. Then you'll be like, excellent. No, normal service is resumed the next day.
100%. Yeah. So,
So Loch Lomond single grain.
Yeah, because
any particular one? just-
unpeated, standard unpeated,
Unpeated, core range.
smashable neat. Love it lit long, like with ginger beer, wee wedge of
Yeah.
lime, big glass of ice.
Very flexible.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm drinking it for 30 days, yeah, absolutely.
It's not mandatory to have to drink every day, but I mean, you're on the island on your own, so
So if
You
I'm not,
probably will.
I'm not being judged by anybody else, so why would I not?
exactly.
Exactly.
Get stuck
Not
in.
you just
And you've got
profiterole,
you've got
grain,
unlimited
profiterole,
supply.
grain.
Yeah. So so it's a hot place. Is there any other what else would make your perfect island experience?
Not a lot of sand. I'm not a big beach person. Like just a nice pool, comfy sunbed, a decent supply of books.
Okay.
Yeah. Happy days.
I'm not sure you're allowed books. I think it's supposed to be
That's now made me worried for your music choice.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Go
So
on. Come on.
music choice, Green Day album.
Oh,
Insomniac, 1995.
what a classic, Gary. Round of applause.
Finally.
What an absolute banger of an album.
So I can just go back to that whenever. It's such a good album. Pretty much all of my music taste exists in the 90s.
I've literally I've got the guitar tab book for that since I was 15 on the shelf. It's just one of those ones that you could just play.
You'll learn it one day, man.
I was going to say, yeah, I've played it 3 times.
But damn, you could play so easily. There's so much joy in it. It's got so much melody in that album. All right, they're really overlooked, Green Day. I feel. I mean, I know they're massive,
Absolutely,
but they're overlooked in conversations about really good bands. You know,
Yeah, no, totally. And I think it's just because they are a punk band that then people deemed because they were successful that they'd sold out. And you're pure enough. Just because lots of people buy your album doesn't mean you sold out on it. You're just
just changed. It was a bit like Offspring. I mean, you can't play Two Fingers Up to the World music forever. Not when you get rich.
No.
At some point you've got to change, right? Otherwise you're not fighting against anything anymore. You're getting private jets everywhere, aren't you? So I mean, how angry can you really be?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think Offspring made the mistake of trying to be or not accept where they are.
Easy. They did the Pretty Fly for a White Guy was when they were really kind of loaded at that point. That was just them going, right, we should just do something different, lads, and they just had a wee chat together. What's your favourite song or songs off Insomniac then, Gary? This is a test now, because if you don't know a song, people are gonna question your credibility.
No, I genuinely think, and that's the main reason I picked the album is that the bread the songs on it. Like it's not just a one tune. Like I feel like I love Dookie.
Yeah,
I feel like kind of it exists at one level.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? They were fine on their feet. That was their first big commercial hit.
Yeah,
But I think
the time here because you can't.
The ups and downs. No, I'm not.
I'll get the old. I'll tell you, I'll get the track listing up for you, Gary. Right, and we'll have a wee.
Inappropriate.
He's trying to load it up. He's in his fucking big music high chair.
This is taking me back to sort of.
He just wants to play it.
No, not play it. This is taking me back to when you couldn't name the Oasis album that you wanted to talk about. This is
his greatest hits.
Yes, that's always the easy option.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Armitage Shanks, Brat, Stuck With Me, Geek Stink Breath, No Pride, Babs Ovalo Who, 86, Panic Song, Stuart and the Av, Brain Stew. Brain Stew's a classic.
yeah, but you're not listening to that all day, every day, though, are you?
No, but it is a really good album. Did you think about this before coming on, or did you just?
Yeah, of course did.
Oh, you put thought into it. Okay, nice.
Come on. Straight in the Avenues. Solid tune out that album.
Solid tune. So let's have a recap then. So far, you're drinking Loch Lomond Single Grain.
Yep.
You are listening to Insomniac by Green Day.
Yep.
And you're eating profiteroles.
On a tepid island.
On a sort of warmish island with a pool. And if you're allowed books.
Island.
Deck chair. Single deck chair. You're not moving from it for 30 days.
No.
So who's going to pick you up then?
Right. I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. It's going to be my wife. I've not seen her for 30
days.
days.
Oh, he's actually, and as you can't see this because, well, if you listen to this, you can't see our amazing shirts that we're wearing either. But all we can see in the background is just pictures of Gary's wife. He's got maybe 25 pictures on the wall of his wife.
It's quite excessive, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, she was only aware of like 20%.
I like the one with her with dolphins. That's a beautiful one. Yeah, it's very nice.
Actually,
and that's actually your wife. That's not just like the stock photo from Littlewood's frames.
No, I mean I know the face looks stuck onto some of them, but no, it's just they are real genuine.
That's nice. So your wife's going to pick you up. Happy days. That's lovely. Brian, who was on last, admitted he'd get picked up by his mates and he'd probably stay out for a couple more days.
And not go home.
And I thought, do you know what? Love the honesty.
Yeah. And I don't doubt it.
I don't doubt it for 1 second.
Even thing.
He's like, I've got a whiskey festival to attend and then something to do, and then I'll be back.
It's been planned long in advance. I can't change those plans.
Only 30 days. Goodness me. Is that all I get?
Love it.
Spreadsheets have been circulated.
Sometimes I pull myself a drown. Sometimes I make it a double. Staring at my poster of Mills serving Scotia. I'm just a massive band, or am I just stoned?
It's coming up for Campbelltown Festival, right, Gary?
Yes.
I think?
Yes.
So what's your view on that then? Glen Scotia get involved heavily, don't they?
Yeah, so it kind of follows a very similar theme to Fejau. And in fact, the decision was kind of made, obviously, as a group, in terms of the group of distilleries, that the festival should be ultimately the 4 days before the Fejau. Campbelltown, like I said, far west coast of Scotland, as by all accounts, a bit of a pain in the arse to get to. Driving, it takes about 3.5 hours from Glasgow to drive it. When the Scottish Government has ferries running, you can get a ferry.
Are you ever worried that if there's like a zombie apocalypse in Glasgow that everyone will just rush to Campbelltown and you'll become infested? Like, it would be, if I was leaving Glasgow because of zombies, the first I would go to Campbelltown, because if you're going to die, you want to get to Glen Scotia or Springbank first, don't you? Right?
I'm not sure it'd be my very first thought. Like,
it wouldn't be your very first thought.
Like the rest and be thankful is a difficult place to get through. Like when there's a tractor there, never mind a horde of zombies.
Love it.
Right, okay, sorry. Go on. So it's difficult to get to.
Difficult place to get to. Like 3.5 hour drive. You can get the ferry when it's running, but that takes 3 hours. And it's a destination. It's the end of a peninsula. You're not passing through Campbelltown to get to anywhere other than the other side of Campbelltown. So we know it's a destination. And the whole idea being that if people are going to make that journey to the Fejau and go to Islay, the ferry terminal to Islay is 30 minutes from Campbelltown. So the idea of pull these folk in for 3-4 days before the Islay festival, get them to bolt that on and do both. Nice. And it's worked very, very well. It's grown very steadily. Nice. That we SWMS 93, is that, Duncan?
No, sorry, that's it's a bunner. But I have just poured. I've poured that to rest. I've poured the Loch Lomond Cooper's Collection Spanish Oak,
Nice.
which is absolutely delicious.
I know.
Credit to you. Good job.
Yeah, thanks, man. Again, all me.
All
me.
you.
Nobody
It's
else.
all you.
So
Loads of people now go to this festival, don't they? So
Yeah.
but I feel like it's still a bit, unless you've gone and done the research. So you're saying it's difficult to get there. There's a ferry on one side, cars, hard to get in. People manage it.
Totally. And the kicker being there's like 2 hotels in Campbelltown.
Oh
Like
my
it's
days.
there's less accommodation in Campbelltown than there is
Is
in
it
Islay.
tents o'clock then? Is it people sleeping in tents? Or?
Yeah, you get a lot of folk that will come down. There's some good holiday parks that have like caravans, campsites, all that kind of stuff. We're also trying to get more folk to come down and do day trips because you can fly from Glasgow. So there's a 20-minute flight that goes from Glasgow Airport, leaves Glasgow at 8 in the morning, gets you back at 6 at night. It's a day.
We listened to the Whiskey Sisters. I listened to the Whiskey Sisters episode where they got flown in and red carpeted and it's
Hint.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and they talked about the sketchiness of the flights, right?
Oh, it's tiny. Like there's 12 people in the flight.
Is it Logan Air?
Yes.
It reminds me of. Have you ever been to the Maldives?
4 or 5 times. It's not. I don't
Right,
don't like to brag, but it's.
That's you're always over there punting the whiskey, aren't you? So
Yeah, of course.
on one of those seaplanes when they're really loud and there's only about 12 people in them, and they're just so loud and they take off and land on the sea. That's the scariest plane I've ever been on, and one in like Nepal. How'd you say it?
Nepal.
Nepal. Very scary. Just mountain planes that just have a seriously high death rate. Well, I assume these planes from Glasgow to Campbelltown are safe.
Oh yeah. No. Definitely. It's safe to the point where
Definitely.
Definitely. To the point where even if it's slightly windy, they'll just not fly, which is obviously not ideal. But it's the kicker being there are times where they'll fly you down. That flight will go fine, and then something happens with the return flight, and your flight home gets cancelled. So you get papped into a taxi.
Right.
And if it's a full flight, you're getting papped into a taxi with 3 strangers.
That's fine. It's great. It's an opportunity
For
to get to know
3.5 hours.
Just 3.5 hours.
Gary, friend for life. You're going to make a friend for life on the positive side. No, I'm lying. I would hate it.
It's a lot of small. That's a lot of small talk.
It's a lot of small talk.
20-minute flight back to Glasgow. We'll be in the pub in half hour. Woohoo! 4 hours later. Two dead people in a taxi with you.
I mean,
So they're like, so where did you get that gold shirt? Doesn't look comfortable. It smells a bit. Have you washed it?
Scratchy.
Did you buy that from a charity shop? I've never been to Campbelltown, so
No.
I've not. Yeah, I've not. I mean, but we're an honest podcast.
Mike?
Never been.
Nope.
No.
Loch Lomond done. Never Campbelltown.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Sorry, Gary.
Shocking. If only
But these days
you
it's so
knew
popular
someone.
to go to Campbelltown.
If only we
isn't
knew
it?
someone, hey.
It's so popular to go there. I feel like everyone's going there. So if but
Okay, no, I don't. No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's all right. Don't worry.
how
about
do you structure? No,
Okay.
we'd love to go. We're just playing hard to get. How do you structure your time there then? Like if you're there for like 3 days or whatever, what should you do? I mean,
Probably only go for 2. If I'm in total.
right,
honest,
okay,
yeah.
honesty. Yeah. There are no pubs. Pubs don't
Well,
exist.
no, there are pubs.
or things to do.
I mean,
Can you?
there's quite a lot of
Does
beautiful
Noah have a
walks.
pool table or darts board? I mean, I can spend a whole day in a pub playing darts. I mean, I'm easy to place. You know,
Well,
there's no
I mean,
pub
that's-
darts board.
That's a slight tangent. But yeah, from a whiskey point of view, it can be done in a day. You can fly in, you can come in, see us, spend a morning with us, and that includes full tour of the distillery. I say full tour. Again, they're small distilleries. So it's not taking you that 3.5 hours to go around. Dunnage tasting, ideally, if you can. That's your morning. Off, get a bite to lunch, go down to the Ardshiel Hotel, which has won best whiskey bar in Scotland numerous times for a very good reason. If you Google them, you'll get a view of the bar and you'll understand why.
You sent me a picture for my friends that are planning a trip, and I was like, "Oh dear Lord!"
Yeah, they've got a great whiskey selection. Food's absolutely magnificent. And then you capture one of the other 2 in the afternoon, whether you do Springbank or you do Glengyle.
How far apart are the distilleries?
Put it this way: if you drive to Campbelltown, you come in, you park your car at your accommodation, and you don't see your car again until you leave.
That's kind of nice, isn't it?
Everything is walking distance, I would say.
That's nice.
It's
That's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
mega.
probably part of the charm.
Stop there. Absolutely, Duncan.
Yeah, part of the charm. You don't need to get in your car again, so therefore you don't have to worry about driving and units and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. Just not embarrassing yourself.
Yep.
That sounds nice.
No, and I think it's one of the things I love about the festival is that we've been very lucky over the last few years in the weather, being that like towards the tail end of May, the bank holiday coming up, the weather has been glorious the last few years. And you get, so again, we'll follow that Fej kind of strategy where everybody gets their own day. So we'll historically do a dinner on the Tuesday night to kick things off. Glen Scotia Day will be the Wednesday. You'll then roll through into Springbank the Thursday and Kilkerran on the Friday. Nice. And it just, because everything is so close, you get folk coming from locally will just walk in. Well, they've just finished work before, like on their break, they'll come over. You've got folk coming from as far afield as America, China, Baltics. There are folk that have been legitimately every year I've been there. I've seen a few faces every single year, and it can't be a cheap trip for these folk coming over, because you see the money that these guys drop on the whiskey, and that's like, and I'm probably like, what did you even spend to get here?
Oh yeah, because I mean, when you get to the sort of 21-year-olds these days in Glen Scotia and Springbank, they're getting really pricey, aren't they? So
it's mad.
Getting very expensive at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
This I've just got to say, this Loch Lomond Cooper's Edition Spanish Oak should probably be illegal. It's too easy to drink. It's actually delicious.
Yeah.
What can just quick departure from that? What's the deal with this one? Because this is, I mean this legitimately. This is just too easy to drink. It is delicious. I'm not going to do tasting notes for it. You can give us that run through, Gary, if you got them to hand, or I can look them up online. Is it recent?
I've got some.
Is it new?
Yeah. So I mean, there's a very clear reason for me sending you that one with the other 2. So we're now doing annual releases of some special edition single grains.
Right.
So again, it's showcasing what that spirit can do. So we do the Distiller's Choice, which is some of the older single grains. So again, the standard single grain's probably between 5 and 6 years old, but it's 100% malted barley. That's why it's bang full of flavour. But it's also why we can punt it to you sub 30 quid. Fine, brilliant.
Yeah.
Master's Choice allows us to use a wee bit slightly older liquid, so some up to maybe 10, maybe creeping above that. Brings a level of complexity to it, bringing it out of cask strength. That's kind of above 50. And then we'll do that as an annual release. That'll be ongoing. We might tweak the recipe of it, but ultimately it's going to be a blend of the older liquids. And then the Cooper's Collection, we will cycle through some regional oaks. So year before last, we did a Mizunara finish.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a bottle of that.
Come on. And then this year we've gone for Spanish oak, virgin Spanish oak. So no spirit in it before. So it's all about bringing that spice character into it. But again, bottled at 50%, it's just...
It's outstanding.
It's ridiculous for a 50% ABV.
Yeah. I was like nosing it and I was like, he sent me bourbon. Quickly look at it. I was like, virgin oak. I was like, yes.
They're always 50%, aren't they? These
Scotch in virgin oak is just so good.
What do you get then, Mike? What are your tasting notes for this bad boy?
Obviously, nose-wise, I could easily, if someone had told me this was a bourbon, I'd have gone, okay, yeah, get it. Which kind of then blows the myth of...
Towards a bourbon.
Yeah. So but if you think
bourbon adjacent,
the big bourbon sell is that the heat and cold fluctuation is pushing and aging quicker. You're still getting a hell of a lot of those notes on here. So apple skin, Nutella, cranberry, toffee, chalky again, cherry and vanilla, and then on the palate,
Yankee Candle,
cherry, orange juice, hazelnut, oak, cola bottles, and ginger cake. Just mega.
Sounds good to me.
Ginger cake's
really
nice
good.
You want the official notes, right? So official notes: layers of elegant fruit and floral character. So that's kind of really talks to the spirit. Enriched with clove spice and vanilla sweetness from the Spanish oak casks. Nose combines floral and red berries with a toasted oak sweetness. Palate, there's a sweet dried stone fruit with an aromatic spice finish, and old wax candles.
Hey, it's a callback.
Yeah. Nom.
It's just so. Look, we're not just saying this because obviously we're trying it on the pot. It is just so delicious.
Mega.
I think I prefer this to the Mizunara one. I'm okay with saying that. I had a bottle of the Mizunara one.
Me too.
This is right on the money. Just perfect.
Very, very different spice to it. Mizunara is a much gentler, by the nature of it. It's a very subtle spice, and again, works really well with the lighter spirit. But here it is more that kind of clovey, not quite the kind of star anise.
It's not bitter. It's sweet. But it's balanced. It's between sweet, isn't it, and maybe more on the sweet side. But there's a bit of balance to it. I'm going to finish the whole thing off. It's that good.
Good man.
I have. Yeah.
Quality.
Really, really good.
I'll let that bunner sit on the side there.
Yeah, that's a classic. And that's still available.
Mike and I both went and tried this salted cinnamon butter Bunnahaven from SMWS, and then it wasn't supposed to be available, and it came available, so we both bought a bottle, and it's just outrageous. You know, when an ex-bourbon cask is just so good.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm definitely in an ex-bourbon phase. I've kind of circled back into that. That's just
first fill ex-bourbon.
Refills have their place.
Refills good as well. If it's a refill, it needs to be in for ideally 20 years ish. Ideally, not necessarily, but it's good if it is, right?
I quite like the tired cask because it's just that sort of raw flavour coming through. You get a bit more of, less tamed.
I've also got this Glengoyne. This is the weirdest bottle. We talked about this ages ago, but I've almost finished it now. It's down to the sort of Michael Henry.
No, that's
get
it done, you.
But this one is definitely a
responsibly,
obviously.
Yeah.
Responsibly.
No, he said neck it. I swear he said neck it.
But this is what Gary's saying. So this is a refill hoggy, okay? And it's really weird. Like old particular Douglas Lang here, they did 24 bottles of that 15-year-old. What? 24 bottles? What's going on?
They just found a barrel and went, hang on.
I don't know.
We didn't empty this
they've
properly.
They've put a cast reference on their DL13640. But just, I think also I'm in that kind of stage a bit. I still have the odd bit of sort of sherry whiskey or whatever. But right now I just seem to be drinking mostly...
have they got, just so
casks.
On that point, have you got casks lying around that you're like, we've got no idea what's in there, how much is in there?
Yeah, good point.
What that probably suggests to me more is that it's maybe something that's been used for a specific release. And they've gone, right, we're doing X number of bottles for whatever reason, and it's left, like you said, 34 bottles in the cask that realistically they're not going to do an official release with. And not that many folk are going to want to buy that and bottle it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And it takes the Douglas Lines of the world
There's
to be
no
able
way
to
there's
just
just
go,
24 bottles left in a 15-year-old cask. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, no.
No, and if there was, they would have married that together as part of a wider release if they're going to do an age statement. But it would have been a liquid that they're going, that's good. Like we can't just blend that away. Like, we'll find something for it. But then it's funny how there's some folk outside of whiskey that think because there are so many whiskey distilleries, we are all at each other's throats. We're vying for every customer. And
you guys are all far too nice to each other.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
I've
absolutely
seen
ridiculous.
it. Everyone's just so friendly.
Sickening.
Yeah, it's because the industry's been doing well for a while. So you watch when it comes when the belts tighten.
No, but you'd be surprised. Like again, that's like
I was only joking. It's a very friendly industry. It's very nice. You know,
deep callback to the old Campbelltown bit. There was a point where Campbelltown was in its absolute doldrums. There was 2 distilleries. There was us and Springbank, and Glen Scotia was being used so sparsely. There was a few times where we had staff from Springbank come over and operate the distillery.
Yeah, someone saved someone, didn't they?
Yeah, no. So that was Springbank came and worked at Glen Scotia to keep the stills running.
And then at the moment, yeah, I mean, yeah. So they helped, but it's
the spirit of the town.
But as you say, there's only 2.5 distilleries there now. It's mad, right? And it's so desirable because the character in the whiskey from that region, whether it's Kilkerran, right, or Springbank or Glen Scotia, there's a lot of character running throughout.
No, definitely. And I think it's the one thing I always talk about when I'm talking about Glen Scotia is that it's the one region that probably still has relevance, if that sounds harsh. But by that I mean it's the only region I think that still has a very distinct, identifiable character. So to the point being, think about Speyside. If you were to open a distillery in Speyside tomorrow, and somebody said, "What's your USP?" I am making Speyside whiskey. They would go, "Well, what do you mean?" Like, other than kind of light, really easy to drink, I'm not sure I could tell you what Speyside whiskey tastes like. As a generalisation to that,
it's a flexible, light sort of spirit, really. I mean,
but there's not a defining character.
No, yes, but I think it's down to that spread of distilleries. There are so many Speyside distilleries that you need a USP to make you stand out. So you have many distilleries with many USPs pulling it in different directions. Because you've got 3 distilleries in Campbelltown. And by the nature of the beast, again, small town, lots of distilleries meant they were quite small distilleries. Small distilleries meant small stills. So that's where you're getting that real oily character. Because you had small squat stills, so you've got more of those heavy flavours going over. So that's where you get those real oily mouthfeel. It's where you get the funk from. That's where the Campbelltown funk comes from. And because we're all still using these small stills, that's very prevalent throughout. So you've got real key characteristics, the oily, the spicy. We're all using loads of bourbon, so that vanilla's there in absolute spades. So it's got that real, and obviously the salinity, that sea salt to it as well.
I often think when we try these SMWS Glen Scotia single casks, which we get hold of whenever we can, right, Mike? Yeah. The nose is just, there's so much going on in the nose. It's just absolutely outrageous how many different smells, nice and bizarre, are coming off the nose. I think that's one of the things that kind of sort of sets Glen Scotia peated. Yeah. You
always go into SMWS, you're like, Glen Scotia? They're like,
nope.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
You're like, come on.
Disappointment is crushing. And they're like, do you want an Ardmore? You're like, oh, go on then.
Yeah, you know me so well. But I think that realistically,
like Highland Park, Ardmore.
if they were to have Springbanks, you would get it in a lot of them as well. But they just obviously they don't.
Springbank Hamfield is a good example of that, really. However, whatever age it is, it's different all the time. But Springbank Hamfield is everything that you said. But strong, right?
Exactly. And there's a very good reason that it's that. because they want that to be, and we all want it to be that identifiable Campbelltown style. Don't get me wrong, we all do our riffs on it. We obviously do that super long fermentation that brings that real fruity character to it. Springbank do their mad varieties and percentages of distillations. And then Kilkerran kind of leaning more into the peat a bit. But we've all got that Campbelltown character at its core.
Oh my God, Kilkerran are obsessed with getting sort of cigarette ash into their sort of port or sherry releases. Where you're like, I feel like I'm drinking an ashtray. What's going on? It's bizarre.
Sauces for courses. It's not my cup of tea.
Because they did a bourbon recently. It was banging. Like they did that one bourbon which was really good, and then they just backed to sort of sherry port where you're always like, it's not like an empty cigar box or I'm getting cigar heating. It's like it's an empty ashtray.
It must
like,
be.
What's going
I
on?
didn't get on with that Kilkerran at first.
Did you not?
But they kind of grow on me eventually.
That one was pretty
It needs time. They definitely need time for me.
Just to settle, because they come out.
Gary,
fiery.
do you know what I picked up? I managed to finally get hold of a bottle because obviously I look for bargains, but I loved so much that Glen Scotia 2021. What's it? Not festival edition. What's the other one you do? Seasonal release. It turned up today. I got hold of a bottle.
Get it open.
It's one
It's in the cupboard. I've
Amontillado.
got so much other stuff on the desk. I think maybe it was the one in sort of reddish box. Yeah, that is sumptuous.
Yeah,
but it was about 75 quid. And I might have picked it up slightly under that. Actually, I have to shout out. I think on Master and Malt have it for about £56 at the moment.
Nice.
And I might have picked it up from auction, putting far more effort in than just buying it from Master and Malt for a snip. So top tip, if you fancy a Glen Scotia that's non-peated, that is delish. That's available, I think, for about 50.
Speaking of Master and Malt, I think they made a bit of a pricing boo-boo. Did you clock that?
No, go on.
They had the Spanish Oak at 44 quid.
No, they did not.
Yep, completely sold out.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, I was like,
Brian,
notify me.
God.
No, he was fuming because he obviously
missed
bought
it
from the distillery
right?
at the retail.
What should it have been? 50 quid, 55 quid or something?
I think is it bordering
I think
60?
we're pushing 60.
Oh, right.
50%.
So
44 quid. Wow.
I was like, notify me when this runs out. I don't know what they thought they were pricing. Maybe it was last year's. No, because it's gone.
You got to keep your eyes. Got to keep your eyes on those guys. So you were talking us through sort of Campbelltown. You were saying that you walk around. So is there any other tips you'd like to share or talk about from the sort of festival?
Festival, it's all about the planning. There is so much going on. Let's say if you're there for a few days, then you could do it. I think it's all about. You
said 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if
festival,
it's festival, then you kind of really want to do the 3. Ideally, turning up on the Tuesday to come to our dinner. But it's all.
Is everyone welcome to the dinner? I mean, how many places are there? What's the crack? Is it like a buffet?
Come on.
Profiteroles? Is there profiteroles?
Scotch eggs.
Scotch eggs. Scotch egg tower, profiterole tower.
Chocolate Scotch
Done.
eggs. So we are out at the old airbase, where one of the new distilleries is going to be built. Ultimately, because it's the only venue that can really take more than 40 folk. So we host about 150 people at the dinner.
It's very select then.
Well, you'd be surprised. So it's a mixture of our guests, so we bring some customers and things, and then we obviously sell some tickets. You've got a 3-course meal, 4 drams through the meal. Festival edition being one, some real nice single casks, some nice old liquid. That tends to be what we kind of do with stuff. If we find 3 or 4 bottles of stuff, we'll try and squirrel it away and keep it for these kind of things where it's you almost want it to be that money can't buy experience. And then obviously the tradition being you get a dinner bottling. So that's one we started as well. So if you go to that dinner, part of the piece that tends to be in the region of about 150 quid for your ticket. 3-course dinner, I said 4 decent whiskies, 4 or 5 decent whiskies throughout, and then you get a bottle. And the only way you get that bottle is by going to that dinner.
And everyone gets the chance. Every single guest gets the chance to sit next to Gary Mills. It's
I can.
He's on a separate table, and you're allowed to just.
No, I systematically go around and sit on everybody's knee for 4 to 5 seconds.
2 to 3 minutes.
Yep.
It's like speed dating. You got 30 seconds with Gary.
Santa Claus outfit.
Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you from?
That sounds really good.
It's amazing. It's a great way to kick it all off. And then in terms of through the day for us, on the Wednesday this year, so we've got a big stage out in the courtyard. We're going to be doing some tastings from the stage that everybody can come to. We've got Michael and Becky Paskin doing a blend your own session. So you can make your own Glen Scotia single malt.
Nice.
So you come away with a 200ml bottle of that. Dunnage tasting. So every year it's at the festival that Ian unveils the casks for this year for the Dunnage. So they'll be unveiled at 2-3 Dunnage tastings. We'll then also got a new make tasting school. Really kind of dialing into the DNA of that Scotia new make and how that then develops into some of those magnificent young spirits. And
you guys are busy, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's
busy.
It's got to be, man.
Like, just with all the special edition ranges and the special events, and you keep yourselves busy. You could just be sitting on core ranges, but nope.
But that's
very busy.
I think, like I said, because we've got people come from all over the world, and there are so many of them that are coming back year after year after year. I don't want to keep giving them the same stuff. The challenge for us is to keep lifting it up, keep elevating it and pushing it on year after year. The problem we've got is that ultimately we are working within the constraints of Campbelltown. I'd love to double the numbers, but I know there's not the accommodation. It's a tough ask. Basically, and then obviously it's there are Airbnbs, but again they go like that. It's as Brian said with Isla, that's you just need to book it so far in advance.
Do you ever stay in, like, question to both of you, would you ever stay in a tent, or are you tent people or not?
I've trekked through the American mountains for a good few weeks, didn't I? So more than that, yeah. That's when I was skinny again.
Okay. No,
if you walk enough, you'll get skinny, Mike. That's science.
I wouldn't be adverse to sleeping in a tent. I mean, there's decent caravan parks. There's some kind of wee huts. They're not called huts. I can't remember what they're called. Do you know the very kind of basic
chalets?
Very basic chalets. Do you know what I mean? It's like the foam mattress kind of guys.
Is it like anywhere people could shower, like if they stay in a tent?
Yeah, of course. There's a holiday park.
The
holiday park just outside the Machrihanish holiday park, and that's got the full shower block, toilet block, all that kind of bit. Yeah, that's
well. The Machrihanish distillery has been given the go ahead, hasn't it?
It has, yes, yeah. So they've been doing some work already. I'm very excited about the new distilleries coming. I think it can only be a good thing for the town, going from 3 to what will then become 6 distilleries.
There's room.
Well, no, it gives people more of a reason to come to Campbelltown.
On my days, if it's all still walkable, I mean, 6 distilleries in walkable distance is crazy.
The Machrihanish is a wee bit out there.
I was going to say, are they sticking to the old format with smaller stills, or are they just going new?
Certainly, Machrihanish and Dalrata will be, but I know the guys out at the air base. I've got big plans for kind of decent volume. I would hope that we're still going to be going for that style.
And they want to show some sort of air of respectability. What 3 bottles should they have behind the bar?
Right, so I kind of went rather than just go for that air of respectability. It's that I went for kind of 3 bottles that I think would just draw me in, and I'd go, you guys know what you're doing here. So, not all Scotch. So went for kicking off with a Bimber small batch bourbon.
Shout out Bimber!
God, I love it. It's bourbon.
Oh, do you?
So good.
Mate,
massive shout out Bimber.
Proper fanboy.
Oh, Gary, when you come down to London next and you got a free thing, give us a shout. We'll come do a Bimber tasting with you.
Would love that, boys. We'd love that.
We'd love that as well.
Like club member, bought every bottle that I've been faster.
Found a baby. We get the VIP.
So yeah.
Oh, my days. Did you get the recent the sciencey ones?
Of course not.
Famous?
Of course not. Look, it was one of these ones that popped up. It's pure. It's going live at 12.
95 quid a bottle or whatever.
That's not like for Bimber price.
It was all gone decent. In no time, wasn't it?
Well, this is the thing. So you get the notification at 9 o'clock going, going live at 12. Must remember, 25 past 12 rolls around. You go, fuck.
Gary, I don't want to wind you up. But I sat and watched it sell out. Because I'd bought a Bunner.
Fucking weird.
I just sat and I watched it and I went, that's there, I could buy that. And about 30 seconds later, that's gone. I wonder what's going to sell out next to the other 2.
Doug, so just to be clear, you do also have a job, and children, at least one child, and you sat watching whiskey sell out.
I was interested to see the speed. I didn't buy it. I was interested to see the speed at which it would sell out, and it sold out very quickly. I mean, you could have bought it, but I didn't. But you could have bought it. I've been trying to get the Central Line. I live on the Central Line. I've been trying to get the Central Line Bimber underground stations. That's about it. But other than that, I buy Bimber from auction and go and have a tasting occasionally. Or occasionally I'll buy from Bimber. But I agree, Bimber's excellent. Yeah,
love it.
It's very
and the
good.
auction prices for the sort of box
Drinking
standard
stuff.
bourbon casks plummeted. So many people sat on it thinking they're going to make money on their core range stuff. I'm like, idiots.
But it's quality.
Yeah.
It's quality.
Mate,
So good.
There's like a seemingly unlimited supply of like Selfridge's Paolo Cortado and Oloroso bottles. It just goes on and on and on. There's like 1,000 of them. They are just always on auction websites. And you can hoover them up for like 50 quid, 45 quid,
Stop it.
40 quid, sometimes even 35 quid.
No, that's mad.
It depends, doesn't it? Depends how much time you got, Gary. You got kids and a job.
Well.
You know, you're not gonna
Just watch stuff sell out a bit on
I
auctions.
just wanted to see your face when I say that I sat and watched it sell out. I mean, it was all gone in like 10 minutes or 7 minutes or something. It wasn't a long time, Gary. It wasn't sitting there it wasn't a London Marathon. I wasn't sitting there for 4
3
hours.
days
Yeah.
to sell out. Duncan's just watched it the whole time, refreshing.
My wife going to me, do you want to have some
Maria,
food?
Maria, look, it's still there,
Do you want to have some food or a shower or something? It's been days now. I just worried about you. They are going to sell out. It's going to sell out.
At some point, it's going to sell
Yeah.
out. Duncan, you're looking at the page that hasn't been released.
So
yeah, but when they release it live, it's going to sell out.
Duncan, that's just a bit of paper. That's not even a screen. What's like?
just
You're in the bathroom.
in the end,
What are you doing?
like just be staring at the bathroom wall. Are they gone yet?
Sat in the shower. They're going to sell out any second. They're going to sell out any second.
Should have got. Maria just comes in. I'm just going. I should have bought Isaac Newton. What was I thinking? No, Shakespeare. I should have got Shakespeare.
I've dealt with my Bimber FOMO pretty early on.
Yep.
Like, I accept that. I know I'll get my club bottles. I'll get other stuff like as and when, like if it pops up. But I'm not gonna go chasing them.
The child in me wanted to buy the Shakespeare one and just write on the box to pee or not to pee. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. But I just refused to spend £95 to get that joke in. So, what's your second bottle in the pub, Gary?
So I actively stayed away from my own stuff.
You could say
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And I think I quite like Brian's selection. Brian, I think kind of covered some bases. Stole a couple of ones that I was going to go for.
You can say the same as Brian. But he won't let you live it down.
Correct.
So.
Yeah,
Correct,
never
so I'm
said
not.
the same as Brian.
Linkwood 12. Have you had any of the James Eady Linkwoods?
Yeah.
Oh my days! Like they're
You a Linkwood fan, are you?
Linkwood, yeah.
Wow.
Like it. And again, the James Eady stuff just real approachable pricing as well. It's not stupid. It's real drinkable, decent strength. Thanks very much.
Yoink.
And then number 3, any Dornoch single cask.
Oh, Dornoch fan as well. You're really pro the sort of established newer distilleries, right?
Yeah, well, I like a good spirit. Like I think the stuff the guys are doing up at Dornoch, it's obviously, do you know what I mean? Like they're doing long fermentations and real good stuff with the spirit. It's one of the few new distilleries where the first thing you don't get when you taste it is, I mean, it's young. Like if you think of most of the new ones, you go, I mean, it's young, but it shows potential. Dornoch, I'm just going yum 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 yum. I'll take 2 more of them, please.
I've not tried it, Gary. I don't think I've tried any Dornoch. Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I'm always honest. I don't think I've tried any. I'm going to say no. I haven't got a spreadsheet. Can't check, but I'm pretty sure it's a no.
I'm not.
You should start one.
You should. I mean, apparently you can start now if you want. That's
I will not. I've forgotten more about whiskey.
I might start one
Brian.
just to prove a point that Brian was correct.
I'm sure I've tried more whiskies than Brian.
I'm gonna start
2,946.
I'm gonna start one on your behalf, Duncan. Like I'm gonna listen to the pod.
Yeah.
Anytime you talk about something, put it in a spreadsheet. You wouldn't know.
If I write it all down, I'm going to feel like I've got a problem. I don't want to write it down. I want to be able to say it wasn't that bad. I didn't have that much.
Oh God!
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, just don't put dates next to them. So you go, they were all on
Spread
Tuesday?
it out a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, nice choice. So your 3 are, as a recap, Bimber.
Bimber small batch bourbon.
Yep.
Linkwood,
12.
preferably James Eady,
Yep.
and 12. And then anything from Dorner.
And you'd be happy. So you're not really a massive peat fan then? You haven't gone for any
No.
peat whiskey there?
No, I'm a card-carrying non-peatist.
That's why you're a Loch Lomond fan. I mean, you do peated, but obviously most of it is, would you say, or no?
Yeah. No, you would. So let's say the kind of signature style being that fruit, honey sweetness, and soft smoke. Michael always views peated stock, or he uses peated stock. We would say the way a chef uses salt and pepper.
Where's the lamb sauce?
That's a lovely little quote there. The way a chef uses salt and pepper.
That is good.
You're all week. Try the veal, gents.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about Mike, but I would love to hear just about your shirt collection, because you are famous for. So this is the reason we're wearing these shirts is in nod/homage to Gary. You are renowned for wearing very nice, interesting shirts at festivals, and
You kept a straight face when you said nice there. I appreciate that. Dunk.
I
I like your shirts. I got no problem with it. I feel like I like them. I mean, listen, I'm taken. I'm married, Gary, but I like your shirts. What do you want? What do you want from me?
I'm not sure where to go from it. It's a pure 90s throwback. I've always loved a mad Hawaiian shirt. I went through, in my proper grunge days, it was Hawaiian shirts, baggy trousers, wallet on a chain.
Wallet on a chain, the big flared out trousers at the bottom, right? The ones that like splayed out.
Dready.
When Vans like clothes were cool. Yeah.
Herbie was one of the jeans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was Herbie jeans. Oh my days! I wanted a pair of Herbie jeans so badly.
So I kind of the shirts were the one bit that kind of remained. They went on hiatus for a few years. They were throwing up the loft, up to the point where my wife, one a Father's Day about 3 years ago, bought me about 3 more. And I was
That's nice. She was like, find your mojo, Gary.
Where sea meets land, Campbelltown's embrace. Streets winding through time, whispers in stone. From the stills and warehouses, the scent of whiskey, oak, and peat dance in the sky. As waves kiss shores and clouds drift away, past and present effortlessly cease. Each corner holds stories quietly told, retold in fishermen's tales, on boats discreet, in bars less so. A liquid unique, it draws you in. You'll never forget Campbelltown's embrace.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
Well, thank you very much, gents. Thanks,
Thank
gents.
you very much, Gary. What is your social media handles? Give yourself a shout out
So
people can follow
I
you.
will be Gary Mills 01 on most things, Gary Mills 02 on Instagram. Damn you, Gary Mills 01 on Instagram.
Gary
I'm
Mills
going to go
01.
find him and follow him.
I'm following Gary. I'm following Gary Mills 01 on Instagram. I'd say he lives a more interesting life.
I live very precariously online.
His shirts are just a cut above. Yeah, he's
Just classic wedding
shirt
suits,
game.
like,
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. Mega. Well,
Thanks,
thanks
gents.
for listening, everyone. Follow us along at all the social medias on Us to a Malt, myself on Whiskey Wings, Duncan at Whiskey Tip, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.